Hello Aries, and welcome to your lunar cycle insight video for the cycle beginning with the new moon in Pisces on the 6th of March. So this is a very intense and chaotic lunar cycle for all of us, with Mercury, stationing retrograde on the final degree of Pisces at the time of the new moon, Uranus leaving your sign, shifting into Taurus as the new moon rises also. So it's a very potent time of transformation that offers us a lot of healing opportunities. So this month's videos are going to focus predominantly on these Mercury retrograde and Uranus energies, because these are the main events of the month, and these are the things that are really setting the tone for new cycles. So Uranus and the shift he makes will set the tone for the next 7 years, and Mercury's journey is going to take us right the way up until March 28th, when he resumes direct motion, but he won't actually leave his shadow until the 17th of April. So all the way through your birthday month really, and then coming into your sign, bringing you a fresh burst of inspiration, mid-April. But before that, we've got a lot of deep soul diving to do. So let's talk about Mercury first, Aries. And this is a very heavy energy that we've got going on at the moment. All the planets are gathering in our 12th house, which of course is the way for every sign before the solar return happens during the birthday month. We have this opportunity to cleanse and let go of everything that no longer serves before a new solar cycle begins for us. So of course for us Aries, these energies are amplified by Mercury and his journey through the underworld in the 12th house. So Mercury is going to station retrograde at 29 degrees Pisces, the final anaretic sign of the zodiac. And he's going to be in conjunction with Chiron, who has just moved into our sign. So we have this triggering energy that calls us to look at our deepest wounds, that calls us to really look deep within ourselves and see what needs to be let go of. This is really setting the tone for the whole Chiron cycle as he moves through our sign. So we get this opportunity to look within at what needs healing. Now the 12th house, being the final house of the zodiac, is the house of dissolution, of letting go, of emotional release, not in the same way as the 8th house, which has a lot to do with dying to the ego, dying to the old self. It can be much more intense there. But with the 12th house, we get this kind of washing away, this cleansing, this sense of things that we no longer need returning back into the cosmic ocean, dissolving. So this is a time when we will feel, particularly with the Sun, the new moon and Neptune all conjuncting at the time of Mercury station as well. This is a time when we can feel very emotional. There can be a lot of old stuff rising up. Things that we thought that we had dealt with somehow seem to kind of drift up to the top of our subconscious to be looked at, to be healed. And Pisces is the sign of the great healer. So this retrograde is giving us a real gift, because we can really look at the underlying subconscious karmic patterns and contracts that are driving us. We can look at all of the areas of our life where we are self-sabotaging through addictions, through codependency, through people-pleasing, through having no boundaries, which are all shadow qualities of Pisces. We may feel, very, very psychically in tune at this time as well. This is the house where we have access to the guidance from the cosmos, from the universe, from the spirit world. So we may find that we're doing a lot of processing in our dreams as well. This is a time that calls for us Aries to slow down, to surrender, to really give into the process so that we can benefit the most from it. We will be most supported when we disengage from our need to drive forward to make things happen and instead turn within. Turn within to clear the limiting patterns, the limiting beliefs that have been holding us back. This is a time of rest, reflection, deep contemplation. This is a really good time to start a meditation practice, to be journaling, to be engaging with some kind of therapy or healing modality. It's a really good time for us to express what has been hidden for so long. And we can really benefit from the support of other people as well at this time. You know, maybe we need to just be with a friend and let ourselves be vulnerable, let ourselves be authentic. You know, Chiron moving into our sign is really turning us into wounded warriors. So where normally we are the kind of fiery, strong, fierce energy of the zodiac, you know, we are much more now feeling the need to be brave in our authentic expression of self, to let our true self shine through. So we may have, you know, insecurities coming up. We may have old wounds of being, you know, feeling not good enough, feeling judged, rising up at this time as well. And the key to dealing with all of this during the next 4 weeks, Aries, is forgiveness and compassion for yourself and for other people. So we let go of the layers of guilt and shame. You know, we let go of the old relationships. We let go of the past in order to begin again as we come into Aries season. This is a real deep time of shedding old psychic baggage. We may be aware of how we need to nurture and nourish our bodies as well during this period. As I mentioned earlier, addictive patterns are one of the key points of this retrograde in general, but particularly for us. So there can be an element here of, you know, it being a really good time to start letting go of substances and behaviors that are actually the addictive patterns that are actually keeping us from feeling our true feelings, you know, the things that we use to numb and distract ourselves. Now is the time to put that to one side and let ourselves really feel it to heal it, you know, so we can turn those wounds into wisdom. So it's actually a really beautiful energy if we can relax into it. And of course, you know, we have the traditional Mercury issues as well, where we need to back up our computers, where we need to, you know, think twice before sending texts and emails, travel delays, all of that kind of usual stuff. But the key thing with Pisces is just surrender to it, flow to it, let the universe carry you to where you are supposed to be. So also at the time of this new moon, which is a great time to set those intentions for healing and releasing addictions, we have Uranus shifting signs. So Uranus, the storm goddess, the change bringer. I always really liken her to, the storm goddess of the Orishas as well. You know, she is that lightning strike of divine change, divine revelation. And she has been moving through our sign. I'm just trying to find a picture of her here. She has been moving through our sign for the past 7 years. So this has been a time for us of, you know, complete transformation, liberation, you know, freedom. Uranus and Aries are quite a good combination because they're both very independent, autonomous energies. So we may have felt that drive for freedom being, greatly exacerbated by Uranus's presence, making us even more uncompromising. And here's Oya, the lightning goddess. So she might be a good energy to reflect upon during this cycle as well. And so we've been working with him, we've been really doing, we've been really undergoing an upgrade, Aries, because we've had Chiron, shifting into our sign on the 1st degree, the 0 degree point, and we've had Uranus lingering on the 29th final anaretic degree for the past few weeks. So there is a huge shift in consciousness. There's a huge upgrade going on for us. There's a huge need to break down the old, expand out of our comfort zones, try something new. Perhaps that is what is making us feel vulnerable, because we're doing things in a new way. So Uranus is finishing up his stay here, and he is going to be moving into Taurus, into our 2nd house. Now this is an interesting energy, and you might remember this happening, for the first time in May last year. And Taurus is a very solid, earthy, grounded energy, and Uranus comes in like the earth shake. He compels us to break out of our comfort zone in the Taurus area of our birth chart, which for us, Aries, is the 2nd house of wealth, resources, finances, value, and self-love. So this is the house of the birth chart where we see our ability to love ourselves and be open to receive is in equal measure to the amount of financial prosperity that we allow ourselves to receive. So it's all about how we value our time, our energy, our money, and other resources. So this can be a time when old ways of making money, old ways of doing business, old ways of working start to change, the kind of ground starts to shift beneath our feet, and we have to really think about how we can make changes in our life to accommodate our expanding prosperity consciousness. So Uranus will come in and show us all of the ways that we are not moving forward with these areas of our lives, breaking down our old value systems, our old structures, in order that we can build something new. This will be a time when many of us are working to become more self-sufficient. Like I've said many times in my writings, breaking free of the systems, breaking free of these old archaic institutions, ways of making money, ways of doing business, and actually coming into working sustainably for ourselves and for the earth. So we want to make sure, particularly with these Pisces energies going on, that we are doing things from a space of devotion and service, that they honor the earth, they honor what is important to us and the values that we cherish and hold dear. So this can, if we're in a workspace that does not align with our soul, this is the time that it can become really uncomfortable. So we really need to, look at what is happening at this time of the new moon, because this is going to be the foreshadowing of the next 7 years of experience. So we feel the energy most potently when a sign crosses the cusp, and the issues that rise are often key themes that will play out. And we know for you, Aries, that we've also got all this energy going on up in the 10th house, which we've talked about a lot, and that will be something else for next month's report as well, because Saturn and Pluto will be going retrograde there in quite close proximity to each other over the coming months. So we've got this energy in the 10th house calling us to build, to work towards our purpose, career, reputation. Jupiter in the 9th house of teaching, sharing our wisdom. So there's a huge emphasis on how we're working in the world, if it's serving our soul, if it's serving other people. And Uranus is adding to this energy, it's almost like a wheel rolling down a hill that can't be stopped. You know, these changes really need to happen. And with Mercury retrograde as well, we're going to be reworking all of the kind of details of our offerings and, you know, how we put ourselves out into the world as well. So it's a key month for re-evaluating our relationship to our finances and our relationship to ourselves. We might suddenly realize that we have been completely undervaluing ourselves, that we've been leaking our time and energy, and you know, this is the time to take steps to correct that. You know, obviously we don't want to set anything new in motion with Mercury retrograde, but it is a time when things can be reworked and restructured to maximize their potency. But we want to be sure that we're doing everything from this space of heart-centered service, because we've got the new moon, everything going on in Pisces, the sign of devotion. We've got Vesta, the priestess asteroid, close to the new moon as well. So this is, you know, how we serve, you know, how we, you know, manage to fulfill our purpose, fulfill our desire to help and support other people while still maintaining clear energetic boundaries, so we can be a clear vessel, a pure vessel. And you might find that the purification that you're undergoing is part of this upgrade into the new level of being for you as well. So if you're feeling those intuitive nudges, you know, give up coffee, give up sugar, spend more time alone, spend more time in nature, you know, whatever is healing for your soul, you know, follow that nudge. So as we come to the end of the month, we've got the sun in Aries, you know, coming into our sign. It's our birthday month at the equinox. And traditionally, you know, this is a time of, you know, everything bursts back to life. You know, we've got the kind of daffodils growing already, springing up. The earth fire is awakening. We're heading towards the lighter half of the year now. There's no turning back. And we kind of naturally feel that impulse as our power and energy returns to start charging forward, particularly us, because it's our solar return. But this month is slightly different because of this Mercury retrograde. So if we don't feel that kind of wow excitement that we normally do, we just need to kind of hold on until Mercury finishes up his journey and starts moving direct again on the 28th of March. And as I said, mid-April is a time of, you know, things becoming much clearer, much more direct, because this Neptunian Pisces energy we're undergoing at the moment, it's foggy, it's disorientating, it's not the time to make decisions because we cannot see clearly. You know, Pisces is the sign of illusion. So everything needs to be checked, double checked and rechecked this month. If you absolutely have to sign a contract or make a decision, you know, really make sure that you are seeing everything clearly. Things, people, situations are never what they seem during Mercury retrograde, and even more so with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. So as the sun moves into Aries, it's going to conjunct Chiron. So it's the first activation of Chiron in our sign. So again, we're looking at these wounds. We're looking at ourselves being brave enough to be who we truly are. You know, we're looking at really claiming our power back to heal ourselves, to heal our minds, to heal our bodies, to heal our world. You know, Chiron in Aries is all about being our own best healer, our own shaman, our own medicine man, our own medicine woman. But we talked about him a lot last time. So we won't, if you want to revisit that and think more about Chiron, you can. That was February's videos. So as the sun comes into Aries, there will be a full moon in Libra, the first of two this year. So it's this 0 point, new moon, sun 0 point, moon 0 point. So it's a kind of a celestial cosmic reset that we will be undergoing. And Libra, as we know, is our opposite sign. Libra brings balance, harmony, and peace to all things. So this is our annual review about how balanced our life is, how balanced our relationships are, And this can be a really deep healing one for us, because we've been, we've really had Uranus in Aries calling us to be very much asserting our independence during the past couple of years. And now we have this kind of opportunity to look at how we're relating with others, how we're relating with the world. So it can be a deep healing one for us. We might realize where we have been, maybe putting too many walls up, or conversely, with Chiron opposing the moon, where we have been, allowing others to drain our time and energy. It's a very powerful relationship healing moon. It's bringing that balance, that Aries Libra balance of self versus other. How can we maintain a healthy sense of sovereignty and also have beautiful, harmonious, cooperative relationships? So, a very, very interesting month, Aries, and I'm going to pick you a card to finish this reading. These are the Goddess Oracle cards from Amy Sophia Maharashinki. I hope I pronounced that right. Interesting. So we have Hecate, Crossroads. So the goddess of the threshold, sometimes known as the dark goddess. And I said that, this Pisces energy has themes of loss, of emotional release, of letting go, and sometimes grief. So this card says to me, which road are we going to take? As I said, things may be very unclear, so it's up to us to surrender what needs to be let go of so that we can step onto the right path. And also what comes to mind here is, we can often be very fearful about making the wrong decision, particularly during Mercury retrograde. There's a lot of sensationalism, even though it happens, 3 or 4 times a year. And really, there are no wrong choices, Aries. We go one way, we have one experience. We go the other way, we have a different experience. And it's not up to us to really judge what is wrong or right. Everything that we experience will lead us to a greater understanding of ourselves, of the universe, of life itself. But because she is a dark goddess, Hecate is very much associated with Pluto, with the underworld. She's the original dark mother in many cultures. And this says to me that before you can move forward, there will be things that you will have to let go of internally, and also perhaps, externally. This is a great time for letting go, getting rid of all of the clutter on a psychic, spiritual, and emotional level. So don't be afraid, Aries. Don't be afraid to make a change, to choose a new pathway, to expand out of the comfort zone. So thank you so much for listening to me. If you wish to connect with me further, you can check the links below this video. Equinox blessings, Mercury retrograde blessings. I'm sending you so much love.